How do sales consultants become catalysts in their working environment within the optometry industry? Well, that's what we're discussing in this video training, and it's part 2 of becoming a catalyst in the optometry industry or the optometric practice. And so one of the first things that you need to be aware of is that a sales consultant needs to be closing deals more than anyone else in the practice. So you've got a different cap. So if you're in a practice where there's only 2 or 3 of you, you need to bridge the gap between eyewear consultant and sales consultant. A sales consultant thinks differently from an eyewear consultant, and I'll show you what is the difference. Because remember, in part 1, we were highlighting what is expected of an eyewear consultant versus what they can do to go the extra mile. So here, we're specifically then dealing with the sales component of it. And if you're in a practice where you're functioning as both, then you need to know both. Very, very important. Number 1, what is expected of you? Promoting and selling products or services, right? To go the extra mile, you need to be fully knowledgeable about the products and services sold and offered by the practice and know what makes them different and better than those of the competitor. Next, build strong commercial relationships with consumers. How do you go the extra mile? Be able to regularly convert the following consumers: patients to customers, customers into clients, clients into new business, because you want referrals from your clients. So be able to structure deals with suppliers and service providers that benefit the practice. So for example, a patient to become a customer is that person who comes in with a particular visual problem. They become a customer once they purchase something. So the more products they purchase, the good it will be for the practice in terms of the sales targets. So make sure that when you are communicating with that patient who comes in for the very first time, having their eyes examined for the very first time, that you are discussing and recommending the ideal management solution for them. If you want them to have 3 pairs of glasses, that's what they should leave with. If you want them to have 2 pairs of glasses, a pair of sunglasses, and a daily pair of contact lenses, that's what they need to leave with. Start there. Then give them clear guidelines in terms of how to take care of their eyes, how to take care of the management solutions that you have prescribed for them, when they should return, why they should need to return, what they should expect the prognosis to be while they're wearing their glasses, and all of that. Then when they come again, then they come as customers because they've purchased something from the practice. So the thing about customers is that you want to make sure that the experience that they're getting now is better than the experience that they had somewhere else or before. So you want to make sure that they become repeat buyers. And you can only do that by making sure that service improvements are top-notch in the practice, and so that they can become repeat buyers. When they become repeat buyers, then they enter into the client phase. In the client phase, you're now ensuring value, loyalty, and you're asking for those referrals. You're asking for the new business, and that's how you grow your business. Next, act as an intermediate, or act as intermediaries as between the patient or the practice and the consumer. And what do we mean by that? In terms of sales consultants are the ones that bring together the educational component, the health component, and the retail component that's involved in eye care to the consumer, that connects the consumer with the practice. That's what is expected of you. To go the extra mile, you need to be able to coordinate the academic, clinical, and business components of the business effectively and efficiently on a daily basis. And so implement growth strategies for the practice. So what do you mean? What is your strategy for the patient? What is the strategy for the customer? What is your strategy for the client? Next, how do you ensure that you are effectively moving people up the sales cycle within the practice? Next, identify and meet consumer needs within the assigned sales territory. That's what a sales consultant does. Exceed expectations set out by the practice by constantly planning and managing the operational effectiveness of the practice. Next, maintain excellent after sales care. Very important. How do you go the extra mile? Implement monthly sales reviews and follow-ups to ensure you are doing far above what is expected for you. So go back and check. I have communicated with 50 people and I communicated this product with them. From those 50 people that I recommended or discussed this product, 35 of them went with what I recommended. The other 15 didn't go with it. These are the reasons why this 15 people didn't go with what I recommended. And these are the reasons why this 35 went with what I recommended. These are the pros, these are the cons. So when you do that on a regular basis, you then know that, wait a minute, when I communicate with certain people in this manner, this is the result. When I communicate with them in this manner, this is the effect it has on the business. So you become more competent in every single consumer. And you find you get to a point in your job where consumers never make, even though consumers might have an idea of what they want as a product, they will always go with what you recommend because of how competent you're becoming as a result of the regularity and the consistency with which you are doing this on. Next, keep records on completed sales. Going the extra mile, constantly keep track of performance objectives set out for you on a weekly basis. So the practice might have targets, but it's important that you set yourself own individual targets that you personally keep track of. And at the end of each month, sit down with the boss and communicate those numbers that you have set out for yourself. That distinguishes you more than everyone else. Next, as a sales consultant, you need to update or you need to be up to date with the latest information on products, services, and changes within the industry. And so on your own time, research what is taking place within the optometry industry and know how does that benefit or impact the practice. Next, have high work ethic and carry yourself with trust, honest, and integrity at all times. That's as a sales consultant. And how do you go the extra mile? Be genuine when communicating selling of products to the consumer. Put yourself in their shoes in terms of the visual demands, but never compromise on the sale when it comes to the management requirements thereof. So ask yourself, if you were in that position, needing that product, what would you be convinced of to go for that which is recommended for you? And you have to do that with every consumer. Always do that. So the thing about when you're discussing products with consumers, the product must scratch where it itches the most. That's basically your role as a sales consultant, is that you need to be aware of what are the consumers' touch points that you can hit on in order for them to be converted into buyers within the products that you are recommending. Next, help consumers make solid choices in their selection of eyewear that are beneficial to their visual requirements and needs. How do you go the extra mile? Have a thorough understanding between the clinical and financial management strategies that exist so that you can handle any objections that may arise when discussing pricing. Next, sales consultants create a wide consumer base but still provide personalized services to the consumer. So if your practice that you're working in sees an average of about 10 to 15 people a day or 5 to 10 people a day, what consumer relations are you building that are solid, that makes you connect with the consumer? Because it's easy for someone to buy from someone they connect with. So are you making it easy for people to connect with the practice because they're connecting with you? So how do you go the extra mile? We wrote here, learn to never put anyone in a box and always be expectant for a huge sale. Understand that every patient is a potential customer. Every customer is a potential client. And every client is potentially 2 to 3 customers to the business. Your base question should always be, would I be happy with the service I am giving? So always ask yourself this question, that which I'm doing, if it had to be done to me in this exact same manner, would I be happy with it? And would it convert me to becoming someone who buys something? So the impact at which you are connecting with the patient, the customer, and the client through your service that you are rendering or giving plays a critical component or role in converting people. Next, constantly seek opportunities to increase and develop sales and marketing techniques. Going the extra mile, study the sales records to establish a pattern that exists in the practice. Look at what sells the most and how often. Look at consumer conversion opportunities and know how to communicate with a first-time visitor versus a follow-up visitor that we mentioned earlier on in the training. Next, sales consultants are focused on consumer satisfaction at all times. That is what is expected of you. How do you go the extra mile? Be able to implement a service delivery checklist. So create some form of checklist for yourself that you're implementing with every single one of the consumers that come to the practice. Next, increase the exposure that products get. That is what is expected from a sales consultant. So to go the extra mile, have a firm understanding of what range of products do well and what products don't. Then strategize with the entire team on ways to grow those that don't have that increase on a regular basis. Next, advertise the company products to consumers by providing superiority over rival products. So you never compare products or companies in terms of why you are better. Talk value, discuss the value proposition without highlighting the shortfalls of the competitor's products or brand. You need to discuss the value proposition of the practice that you are operating in from a product point of view. And so be able to efficiently explain to the consumers what is special about the products, the practice, and how they're going to benefit the consumer. Basically, it's going back to that thing of what do consumers gain when they go with what you recommend versus what do they lose when they don't go with it. Next, meet all sales targets that are set by the company. That's it. Meet the sales targets. So your work should speak for itself. Nothing less, nothing more. And lastly, you need to be knowledgeable about product prices, product drawbacks, and combination products in terms of when you are doing quotations. And so to go the extra mile, there is no exception to this actually. You need to know this more than anything else in order to be more efficient when it comes to discussing product-related knowledge pertaining to sales. So it's your responsibility to constantly make sure that, wait a minute, when a person comes in, if let's say you're working, there are different lens manufacturing companies. So let's say you're working with, your practice works with a particular lens manufacturing companies, and these are the products that you guys are regularly ordering. As a sales consultant, you need to know that multifocal options are as follows in terms of coatings, tints, lens materials, single vision material, coatings, tints, when they're combined with a secondary pair of sunglasses with prescription with this, when they're combined with a pair of contact lenses, when it's two of the same thing, how does that distinguish with regards to the medical aid, when the medical aid covers it or when the medical aid doesn't cover it? You have to be competent and confident when it comes to discussing product pricing, quotations, product drawbacks. Very, very important that you are thoroughly equipped to be able to discuss that. So that's basically how you go about becoming a catalyst by going the extra mile as a sales consultant within the environment that you're working with versus what is expected of you.